Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shrutismritipurananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om, salutations to all. Upanishad, when we say, it is the end portion of the Veda. It is also called Vedanta. Swami Sadanand Ji in his Vedanta Sar says, Vedanto Nama Upanishad Pramanam. Upanishad is the Pramana. It is the valid means of knowledge. Of knowledge of what? Of supreme truth, of Brahman. Pramana means a valid means of knowledge. So when we want to see, eyes are the valid means of knowledge. With the ears we cannot see. When we want to hear, then the ears are the valid means of knowledge. So a valid means of knowledge has to be used to attain knowledge. Brahman is that which is nameless, formless, attributeless, not available for perception, not available for inference, not available for any other means of knowing, through any other means of knowing. It's not an emotion, it's not a thought, beyond body, mind, intellect. So the only valid means of knowing this absolute truth is Shabda Praman, verbal testimony. What is revealed by a realized master to a prepared student, that knowledge which is revealed is not just words. Through the Mahavakyas, let us say Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, Ayam Atma Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma. These are four main Mahavakyas. But there are so many more. Every Upanishad will have at least one Mahavakya. Those are words. But what they indicate, that state, Brahma Vidya is that. So here, if you see in Kathopanishad, the introductory portion of Kathopanishad, in that commentary, Shankaracharya ji has given the meaning of the word Upanishad from Sad Dhatu. So he says here, three meanings he gives very beautifully here. And he says also, for whom this knowledge is beneficial. Ye mumukshavo drashta anushravika vishaya vitrishnaha santaha. Those mumukshus who have intense desire for liberation, who want to know the Supreme, who have understood the temporary nature of the world, who have seen through it, done and dusted, and who just want supreme truth. That is the cure for all the sorrows in the world. They don't want relief, they want cure. That's the difference between a mumukshu and somebody who is wanting just some relief from one's difficulties, sorrows, pain. Mumukshu says, I want cure. I'm done with relief methods. So what is that mumukshu? Drishta anushravika vishaya vitrishna. He has withdrawn from the scene, the sense objects, what can be seen, heard, etc. has turned the mind within. Then Upanishad Shabdavacyam Vakshamana Lakshanam Vidyam Upasadya Upagamya Tannishtataya Nischayena Shilayanti Tesham Avidyadehe Samsara Bijasya Visharanad Himsanad. So, the first meaning of the word Sad is Visharanad Himsanad, to destroy the root cause of sorrow. What is the root cause of sorrow? Ignorance is the root cause of sorrow. When we don't know who we are, then we think of ourselves as the body, mind and intellect. This false identification is what creates the sense of incompleteness. I'm just going to share a chart here so that you understand this. Some of you are students of Vedanta, so you know it, but I am still going to go through this. So when we don't know who we are truly, we falsely identify with ourselves as the body, mind, intellect, that I am this jiva, I am Mr. So and so. This is only a role we have taken up, but we don't realize that. We think we are this. So avidya is ignorance of the self, leads to dehatma bhav, that I am this body, mind, intellect. And whenever one identifies with the body, mind, intellect, then there is a sense of incompleteness, apurnata. I don't know who am I. Then BMI identification. So BMI being limited, there will be feeling of incompleteness. Think about it, when we are in the state of deep sleep, there is no incompleteness. Why? Because obviously mind and intellect is dormant in that state. We are closest to our true nature. I am not identified with the body. So there is absence of all agitations. When one is in a state of complete absorption, suppose one is doing some work, fully absorbed, a musician is playing music, cricketer is playing cricket, fully absorbed in that, forgot one's identity. They say it's a flow state. So whenever one comes into that state where one drops this identification, then the sense of incompleteness is not felt. State of love, state of wonder. So apurnata comes when there is the identification with the BMI. Why do I falsely identify? Because I don't know who am I. Now each one, based on their apurnata, has tendencies, vasanas, to feel complete. Those vasanas lead to desires. One vasana can lead to many desires. One desire can lead to many thoughts. So vasana leads to kama, kama leads to ichha or vikshepa. Vikshepa, if you sustain thoughts, lead to action, action leads to result, result gives temporary result, gives rise to more vasanas. This cycle goes on. So a person who understands this very well, that this is the cycle from vasana to vasana, and this is leading to the cycle of janma and mrityu. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam. Now what is the relief here? Relief can be, somebody says that okay, make the actions pure, or maybe other methods of relief in the world where people go do some spa, go for some vacation, do some travel, enjoy something, forget their own sorrows for some time. But those methods don't work for the long run. They'll give temporary relief. Somebody who says, no, I don't want that, I've seen enough of that, will trace the root cause that all this is rising from where? It is rising because I don't know who am I. And this ignorance of the self is the ultimate cause. Why? There cannot be any cause before ignorance. Why can't ultimate cause be anything before ignorance? Because ignorance is beginningless. If there is something before ignorance, then there can be only knowledge, or there can be nothing. From nothing, something can't come. And if there is knowledge, then there is no ignorance. So, that question, what is the cause of ignorance? It is beginningless. But it can end. When knowledge rises, ignorance will end. Beginningless ignorance ends when the rise of knowledge happens. Hence, knowledge becomes the goal of life, not pleasure, not activity. So, bhoga and karma are not the purpose of life. Bhoga can be for some time giving some temporary pleasure, but creates more bondage. Same way karma also. To get enjoyment, sense enjoyment, we do karma, and to go through that karma, we get exhausted, then again go back to enjoyment. Kurute karma bhogaya karma kartum cha bhunjate. They support each other. Why do I work? To enjoy. And how do I enjoy? Do more work. So this cycle goes on, karma and bhoga, karma and bhoga. One who has got exhausted with that, saying ki what is this? Is unending. One has to see that very clearly. This cycle of karma is unending. Even sattvic karma can help us to purify the mind, but it will not lead to Brahma Vidya. That seeker who has done, like last time we discussed, who has done karma yoga, who has done upasana, has gone to a teacher to get knowledge. What knowledge? This knowledge of the Upanishad, which will remove the vidya, will remove avidya, which is what is said here. Samsara bijasya, the bija, the seed of samsara. What is that seed? Avidya. I don't know who am I. Hence the most fundamental quest in life is who am I. Most powerful question is who am I. And that who am I question, any answer you give for it is wrong. No, Swamiji, you can say I am Brahman. Those are words. That person who is inquiring who am I is that entity. This knowledge I am Brahman will destroy that Mr. So and so, that false identification, that avidya. And so it is not an answer that one is getting. The entity who is questioning will dissolve. So that knowledge which dissolves that entity, please remember when he says samsara bijasya visharanad himsanad vinashad, it is not that I, Mr. So and so, remains and my avidya will be dissolved. I, who thinks of myself as Mr. So and so, that false identification is because I don't know who am I. That entity is destroyed. The realization is there was never that entity. That is the main point. It is not that it is really there and then now by some knowledge it is destroyed. That is apparently real. That yes, there is a knowledge which arises and now this entity got destroyed. But all that is limitation of language, time. We are conditioned by time, so we say right now this person was ignorant, now this person got this knowledge, now this person got realized. But what is the nature of realization? The person dissolves. That is called sannyasa. Sannyasa is not a person becoming some different entity. Person, taking up some new clothes, orange clothes, leaving everything. It is not a shift from one entity to become some other entity. It is becoming no entity. It is zero. Becomes zero, empty. So that knowledge which helps me to renounce to destroy this sense of Mr. So and so. That is the samsara bijasya visharanad himsanad vinashad. And that's why this is the last part of the Veda, and this is the last ashram in life also. Vedanta it is, and it is realized through renunciation. Tyage naike amritatva manashuhu. For that one should have seen through life. If one already has enough vairagya because of purva janma samskar, or even in this life one has done vivek, vairagya, etc., then from any stage of life one can take up sannyas. Brahmacharya also, like Shankaracharya ji or Vivekananda ji or any such great master, from Brahmacharya ashram also one can take. From Grihastha also one can take. From Vanaprastha also one can take. What is the necessity? Mumukshu. One should be a mumukshu. So first meaning of the word Upanishad is that knowledge which will destroy this sense of individuality by destroying avidya. Does not mean that a person at a relative level will not know. Now you ask that person who is realized, who are you? He is not going to say, I am Brahman, everything is Brahman. One knows that this is a functional identity which is there. Like an actor knows that this is a role I am playing, but I am not this role. So first meaning is that Visharanad himsanad samsara bijasya. Second meaning he gives is Brahma gamayati iti Brahma gamayitritvena yogad Brahma vidya Upanishad. Upanishad is Brahma vidya. What it will do? Brahma gamayati. It will speed up our evolution by making us realize Brahman. Brihatvat Brahman, that which is the biggest. So Brahma gamayatриtvena. So that is the second meaning. So first meaning of the word sad is Visharanad himsanad, to destroy. Destroy false identification, destroy avidya, dissolve this entity. Then what will happen? Will you become zero? Will you become nobody? Is Shunya the ultimate? No, Brahman is. That second meaning is that Brahma gamayati. So gati is the second meaning of the word sad. Gati means speed also. Gamayati means to take us to. So Brahma gamayatritvat. It will make a person realize one's purnatvam, not shunyatvam. There is nothing. So if one says shunya is the ultimate, it is not. Because who knows that there is a shunya? That entity who is aware of that shunya, absence of everything, what is the nature of that entity? It is not absence, it is presence, asti. It is sat. Hence in Vedanta we always say that we don't have to become blank. That is not our goal. Become shunya, become blank, become thoughtless, that is not our goal. So when one tries to do nididhyasana also, one is not trying to become blank. Majority of the people today, somehow one has got into that kind of notion that thoughts are the cause of our problem. Thoughts should not be there. So become blank, become thoughtless. That becoming thoughtless is not any solution. It has its impact in some ways, no doubt. But that is not going to remove the avidya. Avidya goes by vidya. Vidya vidyam nihatyeva tejastimira sanghavat. In Atmabhav Shankaracharya says avidya can go only by vidya. Vidya avidyam nihanti, that will destroy. Darkness can go by light. No amount of action will remove darkness. You can just bring in the light. Whatever is required to bring in that light, that's enough. Darkness will go. So we need knowledge of who am I. We don't need blank. That every night we become blank in deep sleep. To become blank is not a big deal. If somebody comes and gives us one shot on our cheek, for a second we will become blank. What does that do? Nothing. So here Brahma, what we realize when this entity is dissolved, what is realized is my Purna Swarupa. Because that's what one is seeking. Purnata, Paramanand is one is seeking that. So that knowledge which helps me to realize. Now when one wants to realize this truth, one may go to the teacher, one may listen to the knowledge. Still, there are attachments which are there. And so the third meaning here he gives is the bondage is made loose. See, for an Uttamadhikari, that knowledge will immediately destroy avidya and the person realizes absolute truth. For the others, first the bondage has to be shaken up, loosened. And so what does he say here? The third meaning he gives is Shaithilya apadanena dhatvartha yogadi vidya upanishad iti uchyate. So Upanishad will also give the means to purify the mind. If one is not an Uttamadhikari, then upasanas will be given, other methods like karma yoga, following values, all that will be given, by which this bondage which has become very strong and attachments are there, restlessness of the mind is there, the impurities of the mind are there, those will become loosened up. So the mind will become ready. So these are the three meanings: Visharana, Gati and Avasadhana. These three indicate what? Vidya. And so he says that Tasmad Vidyayam Mukhyaya Vrityopanishad Shabdah Vartate Granthetu Bhaktya iti. Upanishad does not mean a book. Upanishad means Brahma Vidya. And that Brahma Vidya arises how? In the heart of the student. When one listens to the teacher with a prepared mind, if the teacher is a Brahmavit, remember last time we discussed Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham, that student who has prepared, gone to the teacher with the Samhit in one's hand, now listens to that teacher. Who is that teacher? Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham. That teacher is a teacher who is well versed in the scriptures, in the scriptural literature, studied as per parampara, and who has established oneself in the truth, realized the absolute. Two qualifications of the teacher, Shrotriya Brahmanishta. If one has a Brahmanishta guru, best, ideal, no doubt. If one doesn't have a Brahmanishta guru, find a guru who is a Shrotriya, who is at least well versed in the scriptures. If one doesn't find Shrotriya or Brahmanishta, then one will be misled. What the Upanishad says, Andhenaiva niyamana yathandhaha. It is like the blind leading the blind. So one needs to find Shrotriya or Brahmanishta. The culture of ours has fallen in some ways because one went away from the Shastra, one went into all kinds of miracles and following people who are just giving some kind of relief methods to make the samsaric life better and not anchored in the Shastra, not doing the spiritual sadhanas, projecting oneself. All those, so many causes are there where the downfall has happened. One has to come back, anchor in the Shastra. Shankaracharya ji wrote so many scriptures, Gurudev wrote, so many great masters have written. Why? So that we become independent. So Shrotriya and Brahmanistha. When one studies the Shastra, Shashanat Trayate iti Shastram, that which protects us by its instructions is called Shastra. Our own, it protects us from whom? Our own ego, our own raga and dvesha. It protects us from that. So when one studies the Shastra, and Gita Bhagavan says that Shastra is the criteria to know what is right and wrong and live life. Tasmat Shastram Pramanamte Karya Karya Vyavasthita. What should be done, what should not be done? How do I know what is right, what is wrong, dharma and adharma? Shastra is a praman. So Shrotriya is very important. When one listens to a teacher, which is why this teacher is required. Why is a teacher required in Vedanta? In simple words, one can always say that to make us aware of the knowledge, to teach us in a systematic way, to clear our doubts. One youngster went and asked Gurudev, Swamiji, why do I need a guru? Books are there, tapes are there, audio cassettes are there. He said, go and ask that question to the tape. Tape will not answer doubts. It can't understand where you are. And our Guruji, Swami Tejomayananji, he says in a humorous way, he says, that book or a tape will not know that you are sleeping. Guru will know that you are sleeping. Give you one whack and wake you up. But more important, the purpose of the Guru, when we say Guru, Gukaro Andhakara Syat Rukarastan Nivarakaha. Guru is the one who removes the darkness of ignorance. How? By this intuitive knowledge that arises. And which is why the teacher is required who is well versed in the Shastra, established in the truth. From that teacher, when one listens to the knowledge, Kathopanishad says, Ananya Prokte Gatiratra Nasti. There is no other method except listening from a teacher established in the truth, and that teacher will teach that knowledge also to the student in the Advaitic way. Meaning, make that student realize that you are that Brahman. Not as an individual, obviously, but beyond that individuality. When a realized teacher speaks, prepared mind which is there, knowledge will arise intuitively in the heart. That knowledge is called Brahma Vidya. That's why Brahma Vidya is not words. Brahma Vidya is not book. Brahma Vidya is not some kind of concept, theory. No, it is the knowledge that is immediate. Pratyaksha is direct perception using some medium. Immediate is no medium required, nothing. Even the pure mind is only a, what we say, is in a way of saying that yes, mind is impure, so we don't know. When mind becomes pure, we will realize. But it is that knowledge which is my true self. Brahma Vidya and Atma or my true nature are not two different things. Brahma Vidya is Atma. Atma is Brahma Vidya. There is no difference in that. The words are a means to make me realize. That realization, when it happens that my nature is Atma, Aham Brahma Asmi. In that Aham Brahma Asmi those are words. But that state that it indicates, I am Brahman. That knowledge is Brahma Vidya, which is Atma only, which is Brahman only. That knowledge is what one has to, that knowledge only will destroy this, so-called destroy this avidya. And so Upanishad Shabda means this knowledge, most sacred knowledge, most purifying. In the Gita, Bhagavan says, Nahi jnanena sadrasham pavitram iha vidyate. There is nothing more greater, more purifying than knowledge. Because it will remove the root cause of sorrow. Now this knowledge is passed on in the Guru Shishya Parampara. Why a parampara is important? See, why is a parampara necessary? Because one is to gain this knowledge, as we said, a guru is required. And when the right guru is there, tuning is required with that teacher. So a student serves. In the Gita, Bhagavan gives 3 qualities. How does a student relate to a teacher? See, our Shastra has given us everything. We have not followed that, so we have fallen in so many ways. If we have to revive, we have to come back to scripture and follow what is written there. It is proper time tested wisdom. I am talking about Vedanta. Pranipata, Pariprashna and Seva. Three things are given there. Serve the teacher, surrender to the teacher, and seek knowledge through inquiry, questioning. The service is important for that, to tune up with the teacher. When one serves, one understands, tunes up, then one knows what the teacher means when the teacher says something. So serve, do seva. Then that will bring surrender. When one starts seeing that how the teacher lives the higher way of life, in what is the teacher anchored, what is the sense of detachment, desirelessness, devotion, then surrender will happen. When these two are done, then when one asks questions also, and even without asking questions, sometimes when the Upadesha comes from the teacher, the tuning is there. Then that knowledge arises. Now the parampara is required for that. We have an altar of surrender. You see, any great master would surrender to their teacher. They will have one teacher who is their altar of surrender. Ishtadevata Upasana also they will do. And they will see that teacher only is the expression of that Ishtadevata. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. When one says a Brahmanistha Guru is Brahman only. No, if we don't have a Brahmanistha Guru, only Shrotriya is there, then do Ishtadevata Upasana and understand that Supreme Lord has sent this teacher right now. For me, in my level of evolution, this teacher is required. So I am tuning up, I am serving and I am learning. My surrender is to Bhagavan. And if one finds a Brahmanistha, then Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. Khatam. No difference. Then whatever the teacher says, one follows. One will realize the truth. So a Guru is required, and when we study in the Parampara, it is time tested knowledge, number one. We are not being experimented upon. There is no, like Gurudev very clearly said, there is nothing called Chinmaya philosophy. You are not my guinea pigs. I am communicating the eternal message of the Shruti of the Rishis. Nothing more than that. How it is presented can be in a way which is easy for people to understand. Like he created the BMI chart. Body, mind, intellect, perceiver, feeler, thinker, object, emotion, thought, Omkar, Vasanas, BMI chart. Brilliant tool to communicate Vedanta. One doesn't require any background also. A newcomer also can understand. Fundamentals will be taught so beautifully through BMI chart. Whole series of talks Gurudev gave called Logic of Spirituality. Most powerful, fundamental, and one will understand that foundation of Vedanta so nicely in that BMI chart. That is a method of communication. But what he taught is purely what is there in the scripture. Nothing new. So parampara is required for time tested knowledge. Parampara is required where we surrender to that Guru and have the bhav of Ishvara. Parampara is also required when one understands very clearly that this knowledge which we have attained is not our knowledge. It is Bhagavan himself who is the true Guru. So every Guru will surrender to their own Guru, and the bhav will be Bhagavan is only the real Guru. We are nobody, zero. Because that's what one has to realize. That is oneness finally one realizes. So the tracing of the parampara will go back to Bhagavan. Apart from the attitude that my teacher is Bhagavan, my Guru, Sadguru is Bhagwan, the bhav is also that this knowledge is coming from in an unbroken lineage from Bhagwan himself. And so the fourth reason is I am in that unbroken tradition of Guru Shishya Parampara. I should live that knowledge. It is a sacred knowledge. Not everybody has the chance to gain this knowledge. Not everybody even finds a Guru. And when one has found it, Ishvara Kripa it is, one has found a teacher, one has found, a Shrotriya and a Brahmanistha or a Brahmanistha. And now this knowledge has come. So with great sense of sacredness, reverence, one lives that knowledge. And takes it up that my responsibility it is to pass this on to the next generation. That is called Parampara. Where this knowledge is so intuitive and it is passed on, one has repaid the Rishi Rina in some ways. What knowledge has been coming down to us, so many great Rishis, you will see. So this Mandukya Upanishad is, as we saw last time in the set in the 10 Upanishads which are there. If you saw this Muktika Upanishad we had shared last time on the WhatsApp group, the PDF of that Muktika Upanishad. In that Muktika Upanishad is this shloka which is there, which tells us, see, Muktika Upanishad describes the list of so many Upanishads which are there. And in that first it says that Mandukyam ekam eva alam. This Mandukya is enough. This one Upanishad alone is enough for attaining Mukti. If one can't study that, then study the 10 Upanishads. So it will give the name. I'm just sharing that here. Just for us to understand these 10 Upanishads, when we say, on which Shankaracharya ji wrote the commentary, the reason why those 10 are there, Muktika Upanishad is the answer. Here it is. See here. In this 26th shloka, if you see, Mandukyam ekam eva alam mumukshunam vimuktaye. Such a beautiful line. Mandukya alone is enough for this mukti, for a seeker, mumukshu. In that, he says, Tathapi asiddham chet jnanam dashopanishadam patha. If you can't realize through Mandukya, then you read the other 10. This is for a seeker of Vedant, for Uttam Adhikari. Our situation is ulta. First we read the 10 so that we understand, okay, what is the Upanishad? Then we have come to Mandukya, because it's not easy to read Mandukya just like that. Those seekers of those times, and also Uttam Adhikaris, Bhagwan Ram is telling Hanumanji, if they study Mandukya, that is enough. If they can't understand, then go to this 10 Upanishad. Tathapi asiddham chet ajnanam dashopanishadam patha. What will happen? Jnanam labdva chiradeva mamakam dhama yasyasi. When you gain that knowledge, you will come to realize oneness with me. Dhama here doesn't mean going to loka. Saket loka. Dhama here means the abode of Bhagwan, which is Brahman. Realization of the truth. Tathapi dridhata na chet vijnanasya anjanasuta dvatrimshakyopanishadam samabhyasya nirvartaya. If after reading Mandukya you can't realize, read 10. After reading 10 you still can't realize, read 32. Videha muktav ichha ched ashtottara shatam patha. And if still you don't realize, read 108. Tasam krama sashantim cha shunu vakshyami tatvatah. He says, what are these 108? In what sequence you should read? See, the sequence also is given. Tasam krama. This is the krama. This is the order in which you can read. And who has given this order? Bhagwan Ram himself has given this order. Order meaning sequence. So in that, this shloka will tell the order. Isha kena katha prashna munda mandukya tittirihi aitareyam cha chandogyam brhadaranyakam tatha. So he says, read in this order. Isha, Ishavasya Upanishad, Kena Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, Prashna Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad is called Tittiri here, Taittiriya Upanishad, Aitareya Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. These are Dashopanishad. And 11th one, if we say, it is Shvetashvatara Upanishad, on which also Shankaracharya ji wrote the commentary. So they are called major 11 Upanishads. Now, my point is this, that this Mandukya Upanishad is, Bhagwan Ram said that it said that is enough. Shortest of the 10 Upanishads is Mandukya. On that Mandukya Upanishad, Gaudapada ji wrote the commentary, wrote his Karika, Shlokas. And on that Shankaracharya ji wrote further commentary. On that we'll have Gurudev's commentary. This is the sequence. Before we start the Upanishad, we will understand the Advaita Guru Parampara. As we saw the importance of Guru Parampara, why a Guru is necessary, why a Parampara is necessary, we will see the Advaita Guru Parampara, that from where this knowledge of Advaita is passed on to us. So, this is a shloka here now. This we should remember, memorize. See, this two homeworks you get now. One, memorize the shloka which gives the list of the 10 Upanishads. Two, memorize this Advaita Guru Parampara shloka. This is the shloka. There is a whole stotram called Advaita Guru Parampara Stotram. This is that first shloka there. Many of you may know, is a very famous shloka, but important for us to know, understand. Narayanam Padma Bhuvam Vashishtham Shaktim cha Tatputra Parasharam cha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra Mathasya Shishyam Shri Shankaracharya Mathasya Padma Padam cha Hasta Malakam cha Shishyam Tam Totakam Vartikakara Manyan Asmad Gurun Santatamanatosmi. So this is the Advaita Guru Parampara Stotram. The shloka says what? Narayanam Padma Bhuvam. From Bhagavan Narayana, Brahmaji was born. Nabhi of Bhagavan Mahavishnu Narayana, the lotus emerges, and the lotus, on the lotus is Brahmaji. One of the reasons why we consider lotus as very, very sacred is because it is not a creation of Brahmaji. It is a primary creation of Bhagavan Narayana himself. Narayanam, Padma Bhuvam. So Bhagavan Narayana is the root, is the main cause. You can also say Shivji. When we say Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam, that is also a parampara. Dakshinamurti Bhagavan Shivji manifested as, and so Shiv Parampara, Vishnu Parampara, whichever one takes. Narayanam Padma Bhuvam. So from Narayana, Snabhi, Brahmaji is born. And remember, this is the Guru Shishya Parampara. So Narayana is Adi Guru. Who is the first Shishya? Brahmaji himself is the first Shishya. How did Brahmaji become Shishya, Swamiji? So Brahmaji did not know what to do when he was created, and he was ignorant, and he did tapasya for a long time because he heard the word tapa, tapa. So he did tapasya for a long time, and Bhagwan Narayana appeared, gave him the knowledge, and that is beautiful portion in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is called Chatushloki Bhagavat, in 4 verses. What is state of supreme oneness, what is Maya, what is sadhana, everything is explained beautifully in 4 verses. So Brahmaji was given this knowledge by Narayana Bhagavan. Narayanam Padma Bhuvam. Brahmaji's Manasa Putra is Vashishta Rishi. Narayanam Padma Bhuvam Vashishtham. Vashishta is one of the Sapta Rishis also, great seer of the Rig Veda. Some of the mantras of Rig Veda are revealed to Vashishta Rishi. The Kul Guru of the entire Ikshvaku dynasty. Not only Dashrath Maharaj and Ram Bhagavan. Full Ikshvaku dynasty's Kul Guru is Vashishta Rishi. So Narayanam Padma Bhuvam Vashishtham. His son is Shakti. So Shakti, when we say he is the son of Vashishta Rishi, and he is married to Adrishyanti. Shakti was married to Adrishyanti, and it is said that this Adrishyanti and Shakti, to them Parashar Rishi was born. So the story goes, this description about Parashar Rishi comes in Mahabharata 1.176.3. So chapters 175 to 182, they gave the description of Parashar Rishi and his background. So it is said that once Shakti was passing through a forest, and this king Kalmashapada of Ikshvaku dynasty, he was also in the forest hunting, and he was tired, exhausted, and looking for a place to rest. Now both of them, they come opposite each other in a very, very absolutely narrow path where only one person can go. So Shakti is one side and Kalmashapada Raja is on the other side. So Kalmashapada Raja says to Shakti, you please move behind, I want to cross. Shakti says, I don't want to move. And so what happens there, when he refuses to move back, then this king has a whip. He gives a whip to Shakti. Now Shakti is a Brahmana, he is a sage, and here is a Raja. Gives a whip. So he acted like a demon. And so Shakti curses him that you have acted like a demon, you have hit me as though I was a demon, and so may you become a demon from this day onwards. Now this Kalmashapada became a demon, killed Shakti. So Shakti what got destroyed. He got killed. Now not only he got killed, he devoured Shakti as a demon. And all the other sons of Vashishta Rishi, 100 sons Vashishta Rishi had, in that Shakti was the eldest and the best. All 100 sons of Shakti were destroyed, all the 100 sons of Vashishta were killed by this Kalmashapada, who had become a demon. Now Vashishta Rishi was very pained He did not want to live anymore. So he tried to end his life, but he couldn't. And so one day when he was passing by, he heard some Vedic chanting. He says, from where the sound of Veda mantras is coming here? So he saw that it is Shakti's wife, Adrishyanti, who is there. And so when he sees there, Shakti asked, Adrishyanti replied that there is a child in my womb and it is 12 years. He says the voice uttering the Vedas belongs to my 12-year-old son residing in my womb. Vasishtha was so happy. He said, oh, chalo, my parampara is going to continue and there is a grandchild who will be born. So then eventually this child was born, and so Vasishtha chanted a mantra, sprinkled some water on this Adrishyanti, and finally the child was born. And when one little bit of a detail I missed out. So Shakti was very ecstatic. Vasishtha Rishi was very ecstatic, and that his grandchild is there. Meanwhile, what happened? This demon Kalmashapada attacked Adrishyanti. So Vasishtha Rishi came and sprinkled some water on this demon, and immediately that demon lost his form as a demon, came back to his regular form as King Kalmashapada of Ikshvaku dynasty, and he got released. And eventually this Adrishyanti has given birth to this child. Now this child was named Parashara by Vasishtha Rishi. Interesting is why he was named Parashara. See this Mahabharat 1.176.3, it gives this shloka. Parasuhu sayatastena Vasishtha sthapito munihi garbhasthena tato loke Parashara iti smritihi. What does this mean? While in the womb of his mother, his grandfather Vasishtha desired to die, hence he was named Parashara. And so this Parashara was brought up by Vasishtha Rishi and Adrishyanti. All the samskars etc. were done, and knowledge of the Veda he starts gaining. Parashara thinks that Vasishtha only is his father. He did not know anybody else at that point in time. So when he addressed one day Vasishtha as his father, then Adrishyanti clarified and he says, no, he is your grandfather, your father is Shakti. So he says, where is my father? Then the backstory Adrishyanti gives of how this King Kalmashapada devoured his father, and so Shakti is, Parashara is very upset. And when he has heard the whole thing, he starts one yajna. And what is that yajna? He says, I will destroy the entire demon community. All the demons I will destroy. So he starts lighting the fire, he wants to do this yajna, and he wants to destroy the entire Rakshasa and this Asura clan itself. At that point in time, Pulastya, Pulaha, many other saints, they come to him and they say that don't do this. It is just that one demon did this, and it's not that all of them are bad and they have a purpose in the Srishti. You cannot just destroy everybody. And so you please calm down. And this is not our dharma. We are Brahmanas, we are sadhus, we are seekers of Supreme. Drop this animosity, learn to become more calm and forgiving, and that's what the Veda also says. So finally they explain everything to him, and Parashara stopped that sacrifice, and that Agni that he had lit, he directed it into some place in the north of the Himalayas, and the scripture says that even today in some place in the Himalaya this is going on, which this fire goes on, which burns the Rakshasas and all the evil forces who come to disturb the sadhak's life. Now this Parashar Rishi is the father of Vedavyasji. Shaktim cha tat putra Parasharam cha, then Vyasam, in that Advaita Guru Parampara shloka, Vyasam. So to Parashar Rishi, Vedavyasa is born. Now 17th avatar of Bhagavan is Vedavyasa Rishi. Tata Saptadashe Jataha Satyavatyam Parasharat Chakre Vedataro Shakha Drishtva Pumso Alpamedhasaha. So it is said that when people were becoming more and more grosser in their thinking, in the Dwapar Yuga, Satyuga, then Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga. So 2 yugas have passed, Satyuga passed, Treta Yuga passed, in the Dwapar Yuga. So the mind of human beings becomes more and more grosser with each passing yuga. And hence it is said in Bhagavatam 12.6.48 and 49 that led by Brahmaji and Shivji, the Devatas go to Mahavishnu and request him that you please revive the Vedic culture, revive the Vedas. And so Bhagavan in his one Amsha appears as Vedavyasa in Dwapar Yuga, and he is born to whom? Parashar Rishi and Satyavati. So the Parashar Rishi, when he is, the whole story comes like this, that Parashar Rishi on the banks of Yamuna, when he comes and he wants to cross over, the fisherman is busy at that time. His daughter Satyavati takes him across, and Parashar Rishi at that point realizes that a great avatar of Bhagavan has to be born through us at this point in time. And so this fisherwoman who is there, she becomes the medium. So he tells her that this is what is going to happen, and so he asks her permission, and she is very shy, and she also has an odor of a fish. That's why her name is Matsya Gandha. So she says, no, I don't feel comfortable. He explains to her that Bhagavan's avatar is going to happen through you, and it is a divine work that has to happen, and he transforms her body odor into sandalwood, which the fragrance of sandalwood. So from a yojana, from 8 miles, you can get that fragrance. So her name becomes Yojana Gandha also. Earlier she was Matsya Gandha, now she becomes Yojana Gandha. And this Yojana Gandha or Satyavati and Parashar Rishi, so he creates a mist around the island, and then through them this son is born, who is Vedavyasa Rishi. Avatar of Bhagavan came down to compile the Vedas. He was born on an island, born dark in color, so he was called Krishna Dvaipayana. Dvipa is an island. So his name is Krishna Dvaipayana. And as soon as he was born, he tells Satyavati and Parashar Rishi that I am born for this divine work and I need to go to do penance and then start compiling the Vedas. Parashar Rishi also went, Vedavyasji also went. He got the name Vedavyasa once he compiled. Vyasa means compiling, compiler. So Vedavyasa, one who compiled the Vedas, is called Vedavyasa. So Satyavati for that time was alone. But Vedavyasji had given her the promise that whenever you need me, you remember and I will be there. And as we know the whole story afterwards, Mahabharat, Shantanu and Satyavati get married and all that happens further. And whenever Satyavati needed, Vedavyasji himself came, and finally it is because of him that Dhritarashtra, Pandu and Vidur are also born, and that lineage goes on. So Vedavyasji was born to Parashar Rishi, and this Parashar Rishi, again a great sage, who wrote the Parashar Smriti. In Kali Yuga, the Parashar Smriti is what has to be followed actually. See beautiful shloka here which says, Kritetu Manavo Dharmaha Tretayam Gautama Smritaha Dvapare Shankalikhitau Kalau Parashara Smritaha. In the Satyuga, one has to follow Manu Smriti. In the Treta Yuga, Gautama Smriti. In Dwapar Yuga is Shankha Smriti, Shankha Likhitau. And Kali Yuga is Parashara Smriti. Not that one can't follow Manu Smriti today at all, it's not like that. But each Yuga, the purpose of Smriti is to adapt the teaching of the Vedas for that particular Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, Parashara Smriti is what has to be followed. And Swami Vidyaranya ji, he has written commentary on this Parashara Smriti. And he has added also one Vyavahara Kanda to that for the modern time. So this is our parampara from Bhagwan Narayana to Brahmaji to Vashishta Rishi, Shakti Rishi, Parashar Rishi, Vedavyasji. We will see further who are the others, what is their glory, and how this Advait Parampara is so important. For today we will stop here. If there are any questions, we will take it up. You can raise your hand and ask if you have any. All right. Oh, there are some. Okay. Yes.
Hari Om Swamiji, just now when you said this regarding the yugas, we must read this Kali Yuga, in Kali Yuga Parashara Smriti, but Dwapar Yuga, what did you say?
Shankha.
Shankha Smriti.
Hmm.
Okay, and Treta Yuga is Gautam Smriti, right? And Satya Yuga?
Manu Smriti.
Manu Smriti, okay. Hari Om, thank you.
Question was the same, but Shruti or Smriti? Is it
Smriti? Smriti.
Okay.
Shruti means Veda, 4 Vedas only, Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva. That is Shruti.
Right.
Sorry, just wanted to know if I could get the recording of the first class.
It is there, Amma. I said already earlier in the group also that the Google Drive, if you click the group description, right, there is a folder. In that folder, all the recordings will be uploaded. So it's already there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Yes.
Swamiji, I just wanted to know, if Brahma didn't have knowledge, how could he do tapa? Because to do tapa also knowledge is required. Huh?
Yeah, so the idea was that when Brahmaji, the Bhagavatam says that when Brahmaji was created, he saw that there was nothing and he just heard the word tapa. So he became quiet and he started thinking. That thinking is called tapas there. And he did not know what to think, in which way, what should happen. And so finally he invoked Bhagavan, saying, Bhagavan, now you guide. Then Bhagavan manifests. And that's the whole point, to make us understand ki even tapas cannot happen, even the knowledge of Srishti, how to do what has to be done, nothing will be known unless knowledge is given, and for that we need a guru, and Bhagwan himself is the Adi Guru.
One more thing, Swamiji, Shasana Trayate iti Shastra you said. So Shastra is that which protects us from what?
Shasana Trayate, it protects us from our own ignorance, attachments, ego, and of course from doing adharma. It protects us from doing adharma.
So Shasan, that means adharma.
Shasan word is instruction. Shasanat Trayate, by its instructions, Trayate is to protect. Shasanat Trayate iti Shastram. So by its instructions, Shasan does not mean rule. Sanskrit word Shasan means Shasti, which instructs, gives. That Shasti iti Shastram is one etymology. And so by its instruction which protects, Shasanat Trayate iti Shastram. And protects us from what? From attachments, ego, raga, dvesha, adharma. It protects us from all these. So what it protects us from is not given in that definition. But that is what has to be understood. Shasanat Trayate iti Shastram.
Okay. Thank you, Swamiji.
Yeah.
Swamiji, Hari Om, Pranam Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Swamiji, you said Kurute Karma Bhogaya. Swamiji, after that, what did you say?
Karma kartum cha bhunjate. Kurute karma bhogaya. To do bhoga, we do karma. And for bhoga purpose, we do karma. And to enjoy that bhoga, we do further karma.
Yes, Swamiji, is it from some text?
I think it is one of the sutras. I will find and tell you.
Okay. Thank you, Swamiji.
Hari Om. Thank you, everyone. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.